Welcome to Speaking Highly with Jon Huck. I am your host, Jon Huck, and with me, until they put me in coach, I'm ready to play, is Indy Fawcett.
I thought you already were in coach.
Dude, no, put me in.
It sounded like an airplane reference, but then I realized it was
I'm talking to a travel agent. Put me in coach. I'm ready to play. Like, okay, sir. Well, that's not how we do it. Keep your hands to yourself when you're in coach.
Oh, man.
No, you can't get an extra blanket. That's really funny. I didn't even think of it like that. Like, put me in coach. I fucking hate leg room. Oh yeah. Put me in coach. I want to pay for my drinks on Spirit.
Oh man.
Yeah. Opening day is what we're talking about today. That's why I used the center field John Fogerty baseball song
Americana
reference.
Yeah.
Americana. Thank you. We're talking about opening day. Today is the opening day of the Major League Baseball season. If you're listening to this when it comes out, which I assume is how everybody listens to this, is as immediately upon seeing that it's out. So if you're listening and you're liking this, what you're hearing, please go to where you listen, like it, subscribe, rate it, and review it if you can. It's super helpful for us.
Smash it.
And
do everything.
It allows, it allows us to bring you quality content. Sorry, I can't even.
You can never say it with the same phrase, but it's great because
it allows us to deliver you quality content like this.
This show needs a salesperson, and I will be that for you. This is Speaking Highly with Jon Huck. It is the new hit sensation for 2021 and beyond. We're a part of the Roaring 20s, and it's gonna roar. It's gonna roar, baby. Let's do it.
It's gonna roar right into 2029 when we have another Great Depression, and then 2035 when we have another World War, and then
well, at least we'll have this on record as you being right. We'll cut back to this podcast in 2030.
This will be on CNN. And who called it? This weirdo who looks like he's wearing a shirt that says he's late for his hot dog on a stick shift. It says Chicago. It's a Cubs.
Yeah.
I'm wearing it for opening day. I don't have a shift at hot dog on a stick later.
Although their lemonade, incredible.
Dude, they're hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
They're sticks.
Yeah.
Dude, they're sticks. Oh man, they have the best
sticks. Come for the hot
sticks.
dogs, stay for the lemonade. That's right.
Also, today is April 1st. So the baseball season doesn't always start on April 1st. It's right around this time, but this year in particular, it does start right on April 1st. It's also April Fool's Day. I'm only addressing that. I am not a personal lover of pranks. I don't play pranks on my friends. I don't play pranks on my relatives. I'll do stuff like walk in the room and go, I didn't get it. I booked it, but that's not a real prank. You know what I mean? I'm not George Clooney. Like I don't, I heard he's paying tailors to slowly shrink Matt Damon's uniform on a movie they worked on, so he consistently thought he was getting fatter as the movie went on, and he was like, how am I gaining weight? And they're like shrinking his clothes. That's what I heard. I have no idea if that's true, but that's a good prank, right?
Incredible. Well, that's interesting.
And when you're George Clooney, you can pay a tailor.
Yeah, well, I don't want to stop you there, but you were on an incredible role with George Clooney.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's interesting. We haven't been friends very long, but I would...
Oh, we're friends?
I guess not.
Besties.
We have a producer-host relationship, and it ends at that.
It's more than that. Yeah.
I would peg you as a joke guy, as a practical joker. I don't know.
Well, yes, a lot of people do because of my background in television production. Very early on my career as a production assistant, I was on the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. That was Jamie doing different outfits and characters and these pranks. I mean, it's where I learned hidden camera. And it was super funny. It was super funny to be involved in. It was super funny to watch happen live. It was super funny to watch the actual episodes. I enjoyed the shit out of the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. From that show, I went to work on Punk'd, which Ashton and his producing partner, Jason Goldberg, created, the next step, which was let's fuck with celebrities. And people love that shit because everybody wants to see celebrities go and fucking piss their pants. Like, I get it. I was there. I loved it. It was fun. And I only bring all this stuff up because I know all the people that created Scare Tactics and it's just kind of a small world of people that are in this hidden camera game, like the guys from Jackass and the producers on all that stuff, and I did a show called Room 401 and The Real Wedding, a bunch of shit with a lot of people, and I was lucky enough to work 2 weeks on the reshoots they did for Eric Andre's new movie Bad Trip.
Oh yes,
and
on Netflix
I just
now.
want to say, if you haven't seen it yet, please do yourself a solid and check it out on Netflix because they did a really, really good job making a movie that was a hidden camera based, like scene driven as hidden camera pranks. And they've weaved this all into a road trip movie. It's very funny. It's again, not my, I didn't go see Bad Grandpa in the theater. I don't watch the Jackass movies religiously. I don't rewatch episodes of Punk'd. I just watched this because I was involved and I could not stop laughing. There is so much good shit in this movie, but it's also insane. It's very Eric Andre, over the top, fucking crazy. I told my mom supports everything I do. I was like, hey, you can probably sit this one out. I gave her, without being specific, I was like, you're not the target audience. It's hidden camera. There's a lot of stuff in here that's not for you. Her response, oh, it's on Netflix. I don't have Netflix anymore. I'll have to watch it when I get to your brother's house. So she listened to nothing I said. She was like, you're going to tell me? But that's also good for her because at a certain point, you're like, I'm getting older. I can watch whatever the fuck I want, and I'll make my own judgments.
But, I mean, leave it to a mom to double down on that, though. Like, not only am I going to watch it and ignore what you say, but I'm going to watch it in front of a sibling.
I'm going to watch it over at your brother's house. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And if you watch the movie real quick, you can see me. I'm in the background kind of making sure people don't get hit with projectiles at one scene, and then I walk through on purpose. They asked me to walk through in a cowboy hat and a like a plaid shirt looking cowboy guy. Looks like I'm getting into a truck that says these colors don't run. And it was literally just at the top of it. I have nothing to do with the scene other than I was I was hiding in the gas station making sure people didn't run out to get in. Like, hidden camera is so chaotic when we start rolling. I can't even explain it.
How many cameras?
We'll do a
Do you know how many cameras were there?
Well, I mean, if you watch closely, you can see dudes with backpack cameras. Yeah. And then there's also guys that would be way farther away in vehicles. And then sometimes just put a guy with a camera across the street and he's like doing something else, you know? Wow. That's rarer because you don't want to see any cameras if you're doing it right. But we'll do a whole show on hidden camera, but because it's April 1st, I'm not going to play any pranks on anybody, but if you like a good hidden camera movie, Bad Trip is probably as good as it's going to get for a while. I mean, and that was years. I helped kind of do some writing on the movie. Then they brought me in to help produce a little bit. But compared to what everyone else did, I did nothing. I shadowed Barry Smoller, who was a great producer, and then I just kind of filled in gaps. But it is really funny, and Eric is a solid dude, and he's beyond successful at this point. So good for him and good for everyone involved in that movie. And if you get a chance, check it out. It's really funny. Definitely. All right. That's all I want to say. Sorry about that. Back to opening day.
Shameless.
I know, I don't want to ramble. Yeah, that was shameless. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm
a good
pumped.
Movie.
Opening
it's a
day
great
for
movie.
me, it is a great movie. And opening day is great. Honestly, I am a huge baseball fan. I wake up like today is a holiday for me. Even when I have a job and I have to go to work, my computer's got games on all the time. I mean, I watch spring training games, so I love baseball. But opening day, like I talked to with our guest later on, Jeff Gorski, Bleacher Jeff is our guest, staple at the Cubs Wrigley Field bleachers. Friends, met Brody Stevens. We talk about that a little bit. And he's in a band called the Bleacher Bums, which is the Bleacher Bum Band, which is very funny and very Chicago oriented and worth your time checking out if you're interested. But we talk about like how baseball, like the first day of the game, and then this is true with any sport, I guess, but it just feels like so much more with baseball. 160 games. And today, everybody goes into the season undefeated, where everyone starts the first pitch. No one's lost. No one's won. No one's had any kind of struggle just yet. And it's just hope. There's a freshness. Like I said, I'm like Chubbs and Happy Gilmore. I want to write a fucking poem about it. And I've never been to Wrigley Field for opening day. I don't think. Maybe as a very young kid, but I don't really remember it. But I feel like my only opening day stories come from Chavez Ravine, from Dodger Stadium. But what about you, Andy? You ever been to? Are you a Padres guy?
No, I'm Dodger. I bleed blue, baby. I'm a terrible San Diegan though. I grew up in San Diego, but
well, not really, because you were born in '93.
Yeah.
The Padres, you didn't have anything to really look at. Whereas in '93, even the Dodgers were coming off '88.
Trevor Hoffman was the big thing on the Padres, and it was fun. It was fun going to the games. I mean, San Diego is just a beautiful place, and went pre-Petco and during Petco.
Where did they play before Petco?
I believe it was Qualcomm.
Oh, they did. They played at that football stadium?
Don't quote me on that. It may have been SDSU or Qualcomm, but it was probably Qualcomm.
Yeah.
But my first spring training opening day was Dodger Stadium for sure for me as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you remember what year?
It was 2017, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Okay, yeah. I might have been. It does all bleed together. 2017, I might have been there. One year I bought a ticket package that was like 27 games. Me and a friend went in, and because you had to buy, you can't just buy opening day tickets. You have to buy a weekend package or something that will include an opening day ticket, unless you find somebody online who is selling their opening day ticket. So we did that, and as soon as there was the most games I'd ever bought in a package, and as soon as we had those packages, I get a call from. I was like, I tweeted out that I was going to opening day, and a friend that I hadn't talked to in a long time hit me up. He's like, "Oh, you're going to opening? You should talk to my friend who works at Dodger Stadium." And I go, "Well, I don't want to bother your buddy on opening day because I'm sure it's chaotic. But I'm also going tomorrow. I'll hit him up tomorrow." So the next day, I hit this dude up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I get tickets for every game, and most of the time they go to waste. So if you ever want to go to a game," so every time we had tickets, which we had, nosebleed, upper deck, $9 tickets. Whenever we had a game, I would call him, and he would leave 2 way better tickets at will call for me. So we would the 27 games was a waste. I didn't need to buy any of those. I could have just constantly picked games and asked this guy. So for 3 seasons, this dude got me Dodger tickets. I was so bummed when he moved on. He was like, "Oh, I don't work there anymore." I'm like, "Oh.
Damn, you just lost your informant."
Can we still be friends? I'll never call you again.
That's cool though.
But it was awesome.
It
was awesome. And that was super fun. I think the one opening day I really kind of remember because it just makes me laugh. Me and my brother was living out in LA at the time. We had tickets to go see the Dodgers, and I don't even know who they were playing. I went to his house first. We started drinking. His wife, it was like a weekday, so his wife was at work or whatever. We start drinking. We take a Uber or Lyft or whatever, cab even maybe back then to the game. And we get in there and we keep drinking. And then next thing I know, we're back at his house and the game's on TV. We didn't even make it to the 6th inning. We were there and came back for whatever reason. And then he passed out. So like we started a fire because it was cold in his fireplace. So he passed out. And then I knocked over all the chairs and I sprinkled candy all over the house. And then I left. And then his wife came home and was like, the fire that was super hot inside and there was candy everywhere and the chairs. She was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you weirdos?" And I don't know why, but that makes me laugh every time I think about opening day.
That's interesting. John is like the candy fairy. That's a fun
I was
thought.
I was just annoying. Like it was just a way to irritate. You know what I mean? And I dove in head first.
Yeah, I put it very nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know, just the image of you with tiny wings floating above something and sprinkling candy, I think is a funny image. I don't know.
Well, let's just say I don't float when I'm that drunk. It's more like a stumble. It's more like I'm wearing like a weighted apron, and I just can't quite figure it out. Opening day, some of the most amazing things have happened on opening day. My favorite thing that I've read about in terms of history of the game, Hank Aaron, who still is by many regarded as the home run king. Opening day. So this means the last game of the season in 1973, he's one home run away from tying Babe Ruth's record.
Oh.
So opening day, the dude hits a home run and ties Babe Ruth's record, which was a record that people back then did not ever think a human being was going to be able to crack. You know what I mean? Like it was just looked at as this untouchable thing. And Hank Aaron, the mechanics, everything about the way Hank Aaron hit was perfect. And he was like a machine almost, you know, and he did it. He tied that record, but he did it on opening day. So that's like, I mean, the 1974 season must have just felt like it started with a rocket launch. You know what I mean? Because that's like one of the greatest things, because it must have been 1 to 3 games later, he passes the record, you know?
Right.
That's like my favorite opening day. There's a bunch of them, you know, but I
Unfortunately,
remember
he passed this year in January 22nd. He passed.
He did.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Hank Aaron.
actually.
Yeah. Wow.
I that's a good point. I forgot to even really think about that. But yeah,
That's why you have a great producer like
away.
me.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. You tell me who's dead. That's all you do. I'm like talking happily about something like, oh yeah, and they passed away. I'm like, oh, thanks, dude.
It's very recent. We have, must
it
R.I.P.
is. Actually, it is. I mean, look, Hank Aaron, the dude lived long enough to see Barry Bonds pass his record, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Babe Ruth didn't live long enough to see fucking Hank Aaron.
Right.
That didn't happen.
And live through, breaking the barrier, just through that whole era of generation.
He played baseball. I mean, the unfortunate, surroundings of that record, he just received death threats.
Yeah.
Like people wanting him to die because they didn't want him to break some fat hot dog eating, cigar smoking schlub's record. And like, Babe Ruth is your what, dude? You don't know Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth doesn't know you. Babe Ruth doesn't give a fuck about you. Like, what do you care who holds the record? Yeah. And it's always the people who are mad about that are always people who could never accomplish even close to that in their lifetimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've never worked hard or done anything worthwhile, and they're like, this motherfucker wants to be good at something? No! You must be mediocre like the rest of us.
That's the thing. You just be good and keep your own business, Then.
Well, dude, Hank Aaron was fucking undeniable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Jesus. And we're going to talk with Jeff, Bleacher Jeff, about, like I said, we're going to talk about Brody. We're going to talk about Wrigley Field and the Cubs a little bit and his band. But first opening day in the franchise history for the Cubs was April 29th, 1870.
Oh, geez.
Before they were the Cubs, they were the White Stockings, the Chicago White Stockings. Yeah. Ugh. Then the first opening day at Wrigley, when they were the Cubs, they played at a bunch of different places around the city, and then not a bunch, but a few. And then April 20th, 1916 was the first opening day at Wrigley Field.
Man.
Ferguson Jenkins holds the record. The Cubs' record was 7 opening day starts. And Fergie's still alive. Ferguson Jenkins actually played for the Harlem Globetrotters for a spell. I just found that out like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And Carlos Zambrano had 6 opening day starts. And those are the ones for the Cubs that have done the most. I mean, Zambrano, I remember that dude just seemed to start every year for a decade, but 6 years. Yeah, man. So you bleed Dodger blue. Is that because of your family? Or just because the choice you made as a kid?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, my dad's a big Padre fan. My mom is a Dodger fan, but I played on like Little League. I played on a Little League that was the Dodger team.
Fuck yeah.
So it was like my mom liking it plus me being on the team. It was just kind of like,
you had a uniform. You had a picture of yourself wearing the uniform.
I still do. I had the pendant, the little circle pendant with my
You were on the team. Yeah. You were, look, it's like being the president. Like if politicians keep dying, eventually the guy who mops the floor is in charge. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's all. You were just gearing up to play. You were ready.
Of course.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I hope everyone has a great opening day. Even if baseball's not your thing, I hope you do something fun. Get outside if you can. But man, there's tons of games on today. Everybody is in a good mood to start this season.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's, they won't, hopefully they don't have to shut anything down. Hopefully they can continue. The whole season gets played out. We don't have a repeat of last year, but I mean, look, anything can happen, guys. It's opening day. So this goes for baseball. This goes for your life. This goes for everything. It's wide open.
Wow, you really bring it all together in this podcast.
Did I try? I try. Enjoy my conversation with Bleacher Jeff, everybody. Guys, my guest for today, talking about opening day, and again, mostly about Wrigley Field, the Cubs, the start of the baseball season. Bleacher Jeff, everybody. Guitarist, vocalist, and I guess staple in the bleachers at this point.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I know
you got your own seat
there now. Yeah, I got my spot. Although I won't be in it for a while, but we'll get to that.
Right. I was going to say, do you have tickets for this opening day coming up? Or today?
Yeah,
actually, sorry, this show is coming out on opening day.
Okay, so today.
Yes, today is
right.
opening day.
It's a big day for me then. Okay. Yeah. No, I did score some. I have season tickets anyway, so I'm in time. So they put it in a thing where it's like you exchange them. They refund like the first week, the first homestand, they're totally refunding. And then you get to like buy some back in like a lottery and like pods. So you gotta get like your pod of people, and everybody gets a pod or whatever. They had 1, 2, or 3, or 1, 2, or 4, I think, were the pods they're doing. So, and it looks like they're not using the whole, like you can't get too close to the field, like the first 10 rows or so. It looks like they're gonna be all blocked off. So
I was going to say it's limited seating, correct? Because of what's going on. If this was a regular season, is there, because you're a season ticket holder, do you automatically get an opening day ticket, or do you?
I have a ticket for every game for season ticket. You get it every day. I mean, sometimes you can have night weekend plans, but I have every.
Okay, because the only time I've ever done a ticket package was at Dodger Stadium, and it was 27 games. So it was like you could pick and choose kind of these packages that were like that. If you want to see this series, there's a lot of games within this series. But the whole season is a lot. So you must live right next to Wrigley.
Oh yeah,
you must live right there.
1 mile north. Yeah, I walk there. I walk past there to go to work all the time. I work at a bar just south of there. So
can you say the bar you work at?
Yeah, Nisei Lounge, the oldest bar in Wrigleyville, one of Chicago's best baseball bars, actually.
There you go. So
we're very big Malort enthusiasts.
There you go, which is super Chicago, by the way, if anybody is wondering. But if you're in the area, if you're in Wrigley Field, what's the name of the bar?
It was an old Japanese bar, so it's NISEI, Nisei Lounge, because Wrigleyville was a Japanese neighborhood back in the day, like in the 50s, 60s, even up to like the 70s.
Really?
A highly concentrated Japanese like population there. So yeah, the bar is like one of the places that's kind of keeping that alive by keeping the old name and like, keeping it real divey. I mean, it's the same tile floor from 1951 also, but
there you go. Yeah.
It's just crumbling under the pressure now, but
people love authenticity.
Yeah, that's
what it is.
We can give you a big dose of that in Wrigleyville. It's one of the few places you can get in Wrigleyville nowadays too, because it's all being vamped and all, gentrified and whatnot.
You've been there a while, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I've been going since I was a kid. I mean, I was literally going. My mom said that I was born in December 1980. She said, but April 81, my grandma was taking me as like a baby.
Wow.
So, all right. Because my mom was a single mom, so she used to hand me off to my grandparents all the time, and like she was just like, all right, let's go to a ball game. Like it was cheap back then. Like it was before they were really too big. Like 84. Once 84 happened, then the Cubs like exploded, and it's been this whole explosion of popularity and money ever since. But
it really has. That's a good point, because I remember watching games back when. Literally, there was, it looked like there was 10 people there. Yeah. There was like 4 guys in suits who blew the day off from work and were just like drinking beers. And then there was people like kids like you with their grandparents who were like lifelong fans who were, remembered the real good years, the early 1900s. And then,
my first memories is the 84 playoffs when like the Cubs, blew it against the Padres, and Leon Durham lost that ball, and Steve Garvey and whatnot. I mean, I vividly remember, like I was probably 3 or 4, but I remember my grandpa was being so upset. My grandparents was being so upset. So that was going to be it. That was going to be the year. And that was my first.
I remember everyone in my family just giving it a well, what? That's the Cubs. What do you expect? Like, just kind of like, what did we think? They were going to actually advance to the World Series? Like, it was, but as a kid, that was heartbreaking. That ball going between Leon Durham's legs. I mean, that was before Buckner, and people like wanted to run Buckner out of Boston. In Chicago, Buckner, they're like, oops. I mean, that was a rough one, dude. That was rough. Yeah. But that was the first season I remember being excited for sure. Like really, really excited. Like, holy shit, this could be it, you know.
I was a little too young to get it, but I was like, all right, people are.
Yeah, I mean, I at that stage in my life, I was convinced that the Cubs had never won a World Series. I didn't understand that baseball went on before my life. Do you know what I mean?
1908 was not even a year that existed. It's like, dude, I was like walking around like whatever.
Yeah, I'm 5 years older than you, and for sure, like maybe 1970 existed before me, but other than that, there was nothing, you know.
I heard of Led Zeppelin, I guess. I don't know.
So you've seen that neighborhood really change.
Very much, yes. I mean it's accelerated the last 15 years so much, but yeah.
I mean, and since 2016, even I'm sure it's like now they can, you know, they put in a jumbo screen. They put in
buildings, and the Taco Bell's got knocked down. They're building a building there, but they said the Taco Bell's going to get back in the basement level, so we'll see. But
oh wow, yeah, because that Taco Bell's a staple. Park there.
Taco Bell. The McDonald's is back, so it's all right.
So that's all right.
We're getting a CVS now. It's crazy.
What would that is if you've been there before, you understand that is kind of crazy because it used to be a very traditional kind of neighborhood. It wasn't like because you go to Dodger Stadium, and I love Chavez Ravine. I love that park. I think it's great. I like the Dodgers, but you have to. There's no bars around the stadium. If you want to go to the shortstop, you have to park 3 miles outside of the stadium.
You like walk up there? I mean, I've never really been in the Dodger Stadium.
I walk. I would park near the shortstop. We'd go to the shortstop, and then we'd right before the game started, we'd walk. There was this path. It was up a hill and then through like this kind of like
you lost me at
park.
Hill. No,
oh, dude, it's
at Hill.
I forget about that walk, and then I used to take if I was dating someone, I'd be like, "Hey, let's go to a Dodger game." I go, "Oh, this is how I go," and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was a trek. We would walk through this. It goes up onto this park, and then you're walking, and then the park it drops down like a steep, like a dirt incline where you have to use your feet to make sure you don't slide all the way down, and then
like a cardboard box, like the Little League World Series hill, and just go right.
Dude, we would go there. You could walk up that hill. I would light a joint. We would smoke half the joint. Walking across this kind of path, and then on the way down the hill, I would put it out and I would stash it in a tree. And I'm like, if a homeless person finds this, they can have it. Yeah, they can have it. And if it's still here when I get back, I'll take it.
Yeah, like bonus either way. Like,
but
you're passing along, paying it forward.
Trying, dude.
Or you get your joint back and you get one back up the hill. I mean,
and actually, I don't remember. I think I've only gotten it back once. So I think because I remember I came across a couple people taking dumps in that area, so I knew there were people living in that.
Well, if one guy finds it once, he's coming back to that tree forever. Like, this is the magic joint tree. Like, I gotta figure this out. Like, I'm going back here every time.
That's my thought. And I was there. That was a year I was at the stadium enough that it was like at least every 5 games there would be that going on.
I mean, I would check the joint tree at that point. I mean, I'm not too proud.
I checked it, and I'm the one that was leaving it there. I was checking for. What's the first opening day you remember going to?
That's tough. I think 89 I really remember going to because I went to the first night game in 88 with my grandmother.
Ooh, nice.
And the one that got rained out too. The one that was cool, but they started doing like the slip and slide on the field and everything.
That was the first one, right?
And that was the very first one, and it got rained out before they had courts because we can't have nice things. Like, the next day we'll do it. Okay, I'm like, I can't go that. All right, I can't go 2 days in a row. That's insane. Back then.
Yeah, exactly. My cousin ended up at that second game with my uncle, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first game got rained out. Like you said, that's a very typical.
Though. Yeah.
Dude, and how about that? Just having lights at Wrigley was.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't. I was anti when
me too.
They were like, we're gonna do. I'm like, no.
Really.
What's that?
I still kind of am anti them. I think they should take them down. Down. Recall the lights.
I think there's something to be said for night baseball at Wrigley. There's something to be said for.
It's helpful. I mean, it's helpful to the players. It's helpful to
the players.
Normal people that want to go to games. But for me, damn it, I want day baseball all the time, like in the sunshine, like it was meant to be.
But the Cubs still play an inordinate amount of day games compared to everybody else.
I think more this year too, I think, than the last few. I think there's actually 40 or 48 or something like that day games this year. But a lot of them are on the weekends too, because like the Saturday and Sundays are always day, no matter usually unless it's like an ESPN game or whatever.
Yeah. Sunday night baseball or something.
And Fridays will usually be at either 1 or 3. Which is Friday afternoon games are the best. Like if I can recommend going at any time to anybody, Friday afternoon games are like the most fun.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody got off work earlier, took the half day. Everybody's just going after it.
Nobody has to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, it's usually not a huge kid crowd. You know, like Saturdays are the big kid crowds. Saturdays and Sundays, that's where you get all the kids coming out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And like the weekday night games too. If you are coming to this party and like get the experience of it, like kind of old school, you got to be in the bleachers like Friday or like a weird Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Yeah. And what do you have? Do you have any rituals or any kind of thing like because to me I've only been to a few opening day games. They've all been at Dodger Stadium as far as I can remember. Maybe one game at the Twins Stadium, like when it was the trash bag or whatever back in like mid 90s.
I visited that one. That was a fun stadium. Yeah,
it was actually pretty lame stadium, but it was a fun experience being there and whatever. But I feel like now it's like even when I don't have tickets for a game, it's like a holiday. I'm like excited. It's like the night before I get amped. I'm like, it's hard to explain to people who don't like baseball, but the idea that you're about to see a 160 game season and you're starting with this clean slate and there's no, like every team wakes up that morning undefeated. Every team has a shot. Yeah. You know, there's hope. And it's like I feel it's that scene in Happy Gilmore when Chubbs is like, "Ooh, the smell of the grass." He's like, "Easy, buddy. You're gonna write me a poem." It's like, yeah, I do. I want to write a poem about the whole thing and put it out there because I get amped up, and I don't necessarily have any rituals, but like when I drank more, man, I was up and I was watching games as soon as they were on and ready to go.
Well,
do you have anything that gets you moving in the morning?
Like for opening day, especially. Like, well, the last couple of years, the band's been playing a show on opening day, so we usually, set have some.
This is your band, the Bleacher Bum Band.
Yeah, the Bleacher Bum Band. Sorry, we're in a Cubs themed comedy. It's pretty funny too. It's comedy. It's Cubsy. It's fun. It's good music too. We're having fun with it. Like, I don't know. We've put a lot of work into it over the last couple of years, and it's fun. Like the Metro.
Well, you have to know.
The Metro, that has this all the time.
Oh. I was going to say you also sort of have to know how to play your instruments. You're not total fuck offs because otherwise no one would want to watch that.
Right.
But, so you're having fun. It's themed for sure, geared at a certain audience. It's not for Pirates fans.
But it goes from like a little more serious to the comedy. Like there's one song that's kind of about opening day called "Coming Back to Wrigley," where we're singing about like the year after winning the championship. It's like, all right, it's coming back to Wrigley. Like here we go. Let's raise it like banner. It's like we're all tougher. Let's go win another one. Like let's go. So we have that song's our probably opening day song.
That's your but how do you? Because it's so hard for a team to repeat a World Series win. Yeah. Like I mean that's why baseball's been around since the early mid 1800s, and very few teams have done back-to-back World Series championships. And you see a team like the 2016 Cubs, and by all accounts, that was like the 85 Bears. They should have won 3 back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls with that cast of players, and the 2016 Cubs kind of had that same feel where people were like, dude, this is the team that's going to do it.
Yeah.
And now we're sans Madden, you know what I mean? People have started to leave.
Lester, John Lester was a big one too, because once we got Lester, it was like, all right, this is a real team now. Like we're serious. Like this is for serious. Like
because it was a pickup that wasn't stupid. It was a pickup that made sense that he could contribute. Whereas like sometimes they get these guys and you're like, dude, what is this? Who are these dudes? Why are we getting them back or at the end of their career? It's very weird, dude.
It was like this dude with 2 rings in Boston is just like leaving to come here. Like that was serious. It was like, all right, he's like
he knew.
This, Theo's got this. Like, all right, because once that happened, like 15 was probably one of the most fun years being out there because it was before we knew what was going on. Like we didn't know the feeling of what was going to happen yet.
There is that Back to the Future.
That vibe too. Yeah.
So 2015 was the anniversary of that. It would have been what they said in the second movie. And a friend of mine who's a Cardinals fan hit me up and was like, hey, do you think there's because in the like 2015, as the season was getting on, it looked. I mean, it looked real good. It looked like the best.
Arrieta. Yeah, Arrieta's tearing everything apart. I mean, he was one of the best seasons by a pitcher, second half of the season especially, of all time.
It was, and they did, and to me, they did what they did with the Dodgers do with Kershaw. They leaned on Arrieta too much.
Yeah.
They wore him down, making him pitch all that. And as a competitor and as a badass, you want that anyway. But
he's not saying no. Yeah.
It ended up being detrimental to the season, but I think you don't get that far without him. And the fact that, like, because they were looking like they were going to go, my friend was like, do you think that there's something to, like, if you put something out in the universe for that long and people talk about it for that long, that it just sort of manifests itself? And I'm like, I do believe that. I don't know if that's going to happen here. And I was oddly disappointed at the end of that season because I wasn't expecting anything at the beginning. And then I was like, oh my God, man, that was close.
It was a tough pill to swallow. I mean, we ran into a freight train too named Daniel Murphy. I mean, that was a problem. And like, that was a problem. And I to this day, like, hate that guy, not only for his politics, but also his just baseballing. And
everything about his anti everything. And like, and then when he came to Chicago, I couldn't look at that guy. He put on a Cubs jersey. I was like, dude, get him out of here.
I booed him as a Cub. I was like, booed, so no, I don't care.
Good. Did you ever boo Jim Edmonds?
Oh, hell yeah.
When he was wearing a Cubs uniform?
No, Cardinals, no. I gave him a little slack towards the end because he was getting better. He actually did play good for us. So
he did.
I cut him slack at the end. But at the beginning, oh, no. I was out in the bleachers then giving him hell.
That's really funny, man. Your tickets have always been in the bleachers?
I mean, before, I got season tickets in 13. So when we got bad in like Theo's first year, everybody was out. I mean, I was on the waiting list since like 96. It was my grandma's name still.
Oh my God.
So we were on the waiting list forever. And like finally came up. She's like, well, we got to do it. We waited this long. Like, all right. So I just got in on the night and weekend for bleachers then. But even before that, I would sit in bleachers. I mean, that's my kind of place,
Yeah, man. The bleachers are fun. I mean, if you don't have a bad back or you can, you know what I mean? You can handle the ass cheeks being on the slab.
Enough, it's fine. Like, figure it out. You have enough beer and then you stop thinking about your back.
Yeah. And what were did you ever go to games when the bleachers were still functioning in the very center?
Oh, like in the batter's eye?
Yeah.
Area? No, I don't remember that. I remember always just being like.
Was it always blocked off like that?
Not as much. They blocked it off more, I think, in like the 70s or 80s. Like, because there used to be complaints about it. Like in the 60s, it was pretty much just all filled, I think.
Yeah. I feel like it was like that in the 70s too. I feel like I saw a couple games where.
I don't remember exactly when that happened. I remember it being like painted green for a while. It was just like a green. They just like painted everything green over there. And there was like nothing. And then they put like the bushes in and stuff.
Yeah.
Then they built that lounge with the bushes in there now. There's like a lounge thing that you can, like a suite back there.
Yeah. It's, I walked through that new pitcher's bullpen.
Yeah.
At a Dead and Company show, like
that fish tank down there,
2015 or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy down there. It's crazy.
That's one of my rituals too, because I'm pretty good friends with the bullpen catcher Chad Noble, and like I'll go before like they're doing anything the first couple innings. I'll like go and like make faces at him or do a dance through the window or something, or like he'll throw a ball at the window or something, just do something funny. Like
that's awesome.
I'll laugh. Like I really hurt myself doing that once actually.
Is that how you met? Because we sort of know each other. Through Brody Stevens.
Yeah.
Technically, I was telling Indy this. I was watching a game randomly a few seasons ago, Wednesday afternoon or something, and all of a sudden, Brody pops on, Cubs winter hat, and like he's holding this dude by the neck, and I'm like, and I'm like, at first I'm like, hey, that kind of looks like me, like because the beard, you had a big, it looked reddish,
even bigger, yeah.
And I was like, oh man, so I took a screen grab of it, I took a picture of it, and I was like, and when he passed away, I was like, here's my favorite. And I had put 2 to 2 together when I saw you tweeting about him.
Yeah.
And then I saw a couple of, because just you being the Cubs fan, you showed up in my,
right. I'm sure,
people like, this might be interesting to you because you constantly talk about this bullshit. You know what I mean? So it's like, And then when I saw that I posted that picture and you had said, I think this is this guy, Bleacher Jeff. And you were like, that is me. And I was like, perfect. So that's kind of how we met, which is bittersweet in the sense that it would be, it's great that Brody brings, because that's kind of what he did in terms of baseball and comedy. Brings people together. And for anybody who doesn't know, Brody committed suicide a couple of years ago now. So this is the second. This will be the second baseball season without him.
Yeah.
Second full season, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the third?
Oh, third. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, it was before 19. So really, 19.
Yeah. So this will be the third.
Oh God.
And that's sad because it just now it's like because he was gone shortly before that season started.
Oh, just like literally the day before he was gonna go to spring training, like the next day. Like and go see his friends on the Cubs and start hanging out and going to games and stuff. And I really think he would have been fine if he just got through that day. Like
I completely agree with you.
I mean, at least for a while.
Yeah, but once you get down to spring training, I mean, that was a real bummer about the COVID thing last year. Is like I didn't go to Arizona because. Do you ever get down there?
I went in 16. I haven't gone in a few years because it's just been too crazy. But
you went to spring training the year they went to the World Series.
Yeah, and I actually went and saw them in Vegas for they played a weekend in Vegas too. So I saw a couple games in Phoenix and went over to Vegas for a couple games. That was a fun weekend. Yeah, fun weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's I love spring training. If anybody, what's that? Oh, Lester
hit a home run in a spring training game. It was amazing. Like one of the first times. Like, holy
that is funny, dude.
Yeah,
I love watching pitchers run bases.
Oh, especially him. He was just hulky and horse-like. It was fun.
Dude, I don't understand that guy. If you didn't watch him pitch, he's got no other athletic.
No,
he can't throw to first base. He can't run. He can't hit. He can't
No, his habitat is in a deer stand with a gun, shooting shit and drinking birds and whatever he's doing. Well, he's from Tacoma, Washington, but I guess there's that vibe up there too. I don't know, outdoorsman. He's definitely an outdoor beer drinking sort of dude.
Yeah, dude. Which is nothing wrong with that. I like that.
That kind of guy.
How did you meet Brody? Did you meet him at Wrigley? Did you meet him? Because you said you're friends with Chad Noble. Brody was friends with, I think, the bullpen coach.
Yeah, and Mike Borzello. He's the strategy coach and catching court. I don't know. He's got a bunch of titles, but overall, he's the guy looking at the video, making the game plans, and sending them up to the guys. I think.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, actually, it's funny. I originally met him in Boston. I had a 2014 my grandmother just passed. We had this trip planned to go to see the Cubs in Fenway, and she passed, but we had it all planned. So all right, well, me and my ex-wife at the time went, and we're all right, let's go. We had field passes and everything, Green Monster seats, all that stuff.
Dude, nice.
So yeah, I'm just on the field during batting practice, we're watching Nate Shearholtz take batting practice, and Rizzo's right there, and just the weird 2014 Cubs, Starlin Castro's there.
Yeah.
Before all that, I think we met Mike Olt, and we were oh, Mike Olt, great. Who, whatever, Mike Olt just disappeared. But yeah, so everybody's on the field, and I just and I saw Brody's show the year before. That was the year after Enjoy It was on Comedy Central, all that, and I discovered him. And I looked more into his comedy after that, and I was oh, this guy's great. Because I'm into Tim and Erica and stuff that guy too. So I was it was the natural thing to do.
This guy's weird.
Yeah, he's weird, and I love things that are just different. I love people that are just so unique, and just doing something no one else can do, and that's what really attracted me to him. But yeah, I just saw him talking to a coach in the field, and I was hey, that's a guy. That's fucking Brody from the show. And she's no, I don't know. I'm why would he be here? That makes no sense. I mean, I knew he was a baseball guy, but why here now?
But if you don't know that, right. He just appears.
Yeah, I just knew he was a baseball. I didn't know he was friends with the coach and was following the Cubs around and shit. So I was Brody, to give him a little, and he's what, looking around crazy, and I was hey man. And so he walked over and he's hey, nice to meet you. I'm talking to my friend right now, but I'll see you guys after. I was oh, you got a show in New York? He's yeah. I'm we're going there. We'll see you there or something. So we ended up just seeing him at the show and shaking hands again, and made a joke about us being Cubs people. I know you, Boston.
Doesn't forget.
Yeah. So then after that, I didn't see him for then the 2015 happened. No, that was 14. So in January 15, there's the Cubs convention, the yearly fan convention in the winter downtown. And I'm there. I think I got a pass or something. I don't know. I don't really like that thing, but I just was walking around the lobby, and who comes just rolling through the lobby? Freaking Brody. Hey, Brody. Hey, I saw him ball. What I was hey, yeah. Whatever. That was it. Cool. We got a picture, put it on Twitter. Then we started talking on Twitter more. And then he was in the Periscope thing more, so I'd be on his Periscope more, and then more I talked to him, we'd interact, and we just kind of built the friendship through that and through this. Then next time in 15, I think it had to be July of 15. He's at the stadium and on Periscope again. I'm oh, Brody, I'm in the bleachers. Come. He's got an all access pass. He can walk wherever he wants. I'm hey, I'm in the bleachers. Come out, dude. They're like, yeah, find Bleacher Jeff all in there. He's like, okay, I'll find Bleacher Jeff. And he's like walking and like just found him. Like we're on the Periscope and like get a hug and stuff. Like, oh man, good to see you. Then he just like sat down by us. So I was like, yeah, I got a spot if you want to sit here. Like, I don't know. He's like, all right. So he just sat down and like had the Periscope and then put it down after a while and just was watching the game and looking at, you know, weird stuff on Twitter, whatever he does all the time. And, you know, too much Daily Mail for his own good. But
yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then just started there. And then like every time he'd come, he'd just be like, oh yeah, let's, you know, all throughout 16, just come whenever he was there. Cause like we knew what was going down after 15, we knew 16 was going to be a special year. Like everybody knew
something was going.
Like,
I mean, it was
dropped everything. I went to 72 games that year, including the playoffs. Like I went to way too many games. For,
holy shit, man. That's all the home games plus
playoffs, all the World Series games that were in Chicago. Like I got into everything. It was.
I was going to say, did you go to all the World Series games that were? Did you go to any in Cleveland or just all?
No, I didn't go to Cleveland. I felt like I wanted to be in Chicago, especially Game 7. I almost went with Brody to Game 7, but I was like, oh, like I wanted to be in Chicago. Like when it happened, I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, I got to be here. Like I need to be with the people when this all goes down. Like
because it was either going to be, insane.
Yeah.
Or insane.
All I knew was that was like a party I need to be involved in either way. So it's like, how this goes down, I'm gonna be in the middle of this.
Yeah. So,
I watched it at the Metro. Like I was just like, they had on a big screen, like on a projector screen at the Metro, that big rock club that's right next to Wrigley there. If anybody's not familiar, but yeah, and then just pouring out in the street, everybody's out there, like, and it was more tears. There was no flames. It was just all tears. Like everyone was too just like in awe and sad, and just, not even sad, just like tears of joy.
Yeah.
To be
more like it's like when you get something you just didn't think you would ever get.
Oh yeah, and it's just like everybody's like, oh, the city's gonna be set on fire. It's gonna be the craziest thing. I was like, it was fine. Like people were honking horns and going nuts, and like no one really did anything. And then we had like the biggest gathering on one of the faces of the earth or whatever.
Dude, it was the 8th or 10th largest gathering of human beings ever recorded on the planet.
Wild. Yeah, I was in the middle of that too. That was wild.
That looked like something I did not want to be in the middle of.
Oh, I got down there by the stage. I had a big vuvuzela. I bought a vuvuzela, just honking it. I was yelling, "Free jazz, 25 cents," and honking my vuvuzela. It was a good time. Very stoned, very like we all morning.
Yeah, I bet, dude. I bet, man.
It was a good time.
So let's talk
back to opening day. Yeah, sorry, we're getting.
Well, no, dude. I wanted to.
Right. Oh yeah, like Brody's story. Yeah,
I like to talk about Brody whenever I can, just because.
Me too.
His love of baseball was unparalleled, and then
keep the legacy alive.
The way he, like, look, you guys, you recognized him. You said hi. He then, boom, boom, boom. You're sitting with him at the bleachers. It's like that's not a.
No, he treated me like anybody else. Like he, you know, just like that was the biggest thing. Like I learned and saw from him. It's like for being who he was and being like, you know, a semi-famous person that could easily like big time name. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Like he was just like super cool and just like talk to you like you were like just as important as anybody else. Like,
yeah. That's what I always liked about him. Even when I was just starting out and I would see him, you know, he would remember my name. Yeah. He would remember where I was from. He knew I liked the Cubs.
High school mascot.
Dude, yeah, he was just it's just a guy who in LA it can be, you can feel like you don't. Like nobody gives a shit about you. It's really easy to fall into that. I'm
drawn to authenticity too, and you feel that with him. Like he's just who he is, and that's it. Like it or not, like this is what you're getting. Like cool.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. Because I mean, I didn't agree with all of his stuff all the time. Obviously.
No, I would never talk politics with the dude. But I will say he gave us
a couple times, but didn't go crazy.
No, thank you.
I think he went all right, but
we had him on. Talking about, I had another podcast that I think we had you on that too, Hollywood Anonymous, and we had Brody on talking about the 7 games. He went to all 7 of those World Series games, and he only had a ticket for the first one.
Oh, I snuck him in Game 5 myself.
Yeah. So this Game 5, you snuck him in. He basically just walked right in to Game 6 and 7. He said he saw. His joke about Kevin Millar. He's like, I went to preschool with Kevin Millar. He had frosted tips. I'm never gonna not laugh at that whenever I see Kevin Millar. But he said he walked in, he waved, and Kevin's like, hey. I mean, the dude is on the field a World Series game.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any press credentials. He doesn't have a pass. No ticket. He's just like, everyone's like,
Millar, just got the old waving.
I mean, the Cubs wear shirts with his, you know, I mean, it's.
Yeah, this one right here.
Dude.
Yeah, Borzello gave this to me,
And if you happen to see the movie Bad Trip on Netflix,
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah.
there is it's dedicated to Kevin Barnett and
That's amazing.
Brody Stevens. Yeah. It's very funny. I passed through that real quick in a cowboy hat.
Oh, nice. All right.
But the movie is really funny. I think you'll enjoy it and probably.
Oh yeah,
laugh
no,
your ass off.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's probably on the docket for tonight, actually.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, not tonight because tonight's opening day. So,
Oh, right, shit.
dude, no, people get it.
Right. No, it was great. I started with a shower beer. I got to the stadium I'd be at the stadium right now though, and or playing a show depending on what time this is.
Well, this will come out at 6 a.m. on opening day.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I just got out of bed. I'm got my coffee with my Bailey's in
Bailey's
it. Right
in it. Nice. Now, when you get to the stadium, where do you guys play?
We play at G-Man Tavern, so it's right next to the Metro, right on Clark. There, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Wrigley Field right there.
Okay, so you walk your gear over there.
Well, we're gonna have the rest of the band drive it over. Not everybody's going to the game. Like only me and one of my bandmates is. Like the drummer guy is a Sox fan, so he doesn't care.
What? Okay.
Yeah, whatever. We need a drummer. It's hard to find.
That's true. The drummer he's the heartbeat. He doesn't need to.
As long as he wants to show up, I don't care. Like we had a Cardinals fan for a little bit last year. I didn't care. I was like, whatever, I don't care. We just gotta and we made him play Fuck the Cardinals too. We did Fuck the Casbah as Fuck the Cardinals. Yachty don't like it. Fuck the Cardinals. Fuck the Cardinals. Go from there. Like John Hamm don't like it. Fuck the Cardinals. Yada yada. Yeah, but it's right there. It's a good time. They had us like in 19. They had us every month. Like we had a monthly thing. I think we're working that out for this year. So we might just be like a monthly residency after like a Saturday game or something. So yeah.
And how long do you guys play?
Usually just about an hour. Like we just got this album. We just dropped this album. It's self-titled Bleacher Bum Band on Spotify and whatever. I don't know. But yeah,
we're gonna put up links to where people can get it.
I think that's 40 minutes long, and we're playing a couple covers. We're doing
what covers do you do?
For this set we're doing Viva Las Vegas, but we're changing it like a rockabilly rocked up version, and it's Viva Chris Bryant because he's from Vegas. So
okay.
So we got some Chris Bryant lyrics, Viva Chris Bryant. It works pretty well. And then we're doing we reworked the Mighty Quinn.
Ooh, I like that song.
And that song is going to be Everybody's In, because that's one of the Cubs slogans is Everybody's In. I think we wrote that 2 years ago anyway, or we worked, whatever. It's in this set, who cares? It was more the Cubs slogan a couple years ago, but...
Yeah, but that's all right. That's all right.
And then, I think that's it for this one. But yeah, we've done, the Rock the Casbah is a good one. That's Fuck the Cardinals. Oh, God, what are some other ones? I have to look back up a bit.
Well, I like I got the song list here for the album.
Oh yeah, those are the original ones too. These are all original record songs.
I was gonna say there are no covers on here. This is all.
We can't do that we don't have that kind of money.
I like the Ballad of John Baker.
Yeah,
I feel like I remember that game.
Yeah, the night the backup catcher got the win. Yeah, it was a 14-inning game, and everybody ran out of pitchers.
And he came in,
put in the backup catcher. A tie ball game. He ended up getting on he went into hit first, ended up getting a walk and scoring. Like walked, got to second. The lyrics are like he got to first base on a walk. He got to second base somehow. Like no one remembers how he got to second base.
Yeah.
Then he scored on a sacrifice fly from third, and that ended up winning the game. Like got an inning of scoreless baseball, pitching as the backup catcher. Throwing awful stuff, like not throwing.
No! It wasn't like he came in and was like, "My God, I didn't know he could throw." It's like, how is this happening?
65 and down the middle, just like you or I could. I mean,
which I think is for a batter who's used to 85, 95 moving. Mm-hmm. It's like more confusing.
Yeah.
How do you? I don't want to. This is like such a dumb question. Where do you come up with your ideas for lyrics?
Well, a lot of it's my bandmate, Mr. Danny Rocket, Mr. Son Ranto from the Son Ranto podcast. Like he's got his own podcast thing. But yeah, he was like God, he used to sing in the original touring company of like Rent back in the day. Like he was like a big New York singer guy back then, kind of Broadway. And he was also actually his other claim to fame is he was an Arby's voiceover guy when it was like I'm thinking Arby's for like in the late 2000s.
Wow. Okay.
Two claims to fame.
Hey.
But yeah, he's mostly behind the lyrics and stuff. I'm mostly producing and playing guitar and making it all work and all that stuff and putting some leads on it and stuff, doing some guitar solos.
And how long have you been playing guitar?
Oh, I've been playing since I was 13
Kid.
years old.
Yeah.
Like I was good at trumpet in like junior high or whatever. It was like first chair or whatever. And then it was like, oh, it's time to go to high school. Like you got to play in marching band. I was like, nope. Like I'm not doing that. Like you make me put on a hat and a suit and like march in front of everybody. Like,
Yeah. I don't need to wear slacks.
Like I'm good. Like I'm just gonna play guitar now. That's cool. Like I'll figure this out. And then
That's funny.
Yeah. But I was never like lessons guy or anything. I just like have learned from ear and just playing and figuring out other songs. And
wow.
I don't know. It's kind of
well. That's a lot of practice then, man, because that's just not easy, you know. And
it's been a long time, man.
And I know like people would look at your band and be like, oh yeah, these guys that fuck around and they play these Cubs songs, but like writing a song and writing lyrics and putting it all together, like I don't care if it's supposed to be funny, I don't care if it's supposed to be fucking scary, whatever, but it's not an easy process.
Right. And I wanted to take the music like seriously, to be like, hey, this is like music you can listen to, it's fun, it rocks, like it's like we want to be like, if you're like going to the game, this is an album you can just like crank and get pumped for a game, you know, if like
it's
your way down
like,
or something.
not to compare you two, but like the idea of Tenacious D or Flight of the Conchords, in the sense that you laugh your ass off at the lyrics, but the music is legitimately good. It's really well done, and it's made by musicians. You know?
Yeah, there's also this rapper in Chicago called Serengeti. I don't know if you've heard of him. He does that Dennehy song. It's like he just raps about like sports and stuff. He has like the Chicago character. It's like a rapper.
Oh wow, okay.
It's really fun. That's the kind of thing I looked at too. Like, oh yeah, we could just have this like weird character thing and just like do it like we're just a fan going through the day or whatever. Just that kind of perspective. Yeah.
It's a point of view. You know what I mean? That's fairly unique in the sense that you guys are dudes who in these songs live in the bleachers essentially.
Yeah.
You're always there. Have you seen all the fucking movies they make about every, bleacher bums? And they've made like 1,000 movies. I feel like where it's
there's that play that was like Joe Mantegna did that was Bleacher Bums.
And didn't they make a movie of that or no?
I mean, I've seen it. I don't know. It's on like I got like a DVD of it somewhere. It was like a play. Like someone handed me a DVD. Like one of the old timers in the bleachers was like, "Hey, yeah, here's Bleacher Bums on DVD." I was like, "All right." And I think I watched it. I'm like, "What?" I don't even understand. Like it was. I don't know. It was just like a play around people going to the game, and I didn't care. Like I was like, "All right, I don't care."
That's the thing is, unless the writing is so outstanding that you can't believe it, conversations between people you don't give a shit about isn't gonna. That's like what I've run into a lot in Los Angeles. Is people like, "Oh, you're a Cubs fan." My dad was a Cubs fan, and they think that then we should be friends.
Yeah, we're friends now. But then also, like to not be too serious too, because like one of our songs is also like about how like the trough piss is recycled in the Budweiser because Harry Carey wanted to save money in 1986. So
is that what this is about? The Harry lives on in the
Harry
taps.
Lives on the taps. So when you pee in the trough, where does the pee go? It goes back into the Budweiser. Sell it back to you. Harry Carey said that was his idea, and to save money. That's
very Fight Clubby. That's very Brad Pitt and Fight Club selling back soap. Good for Harry. And for anyone who's concerned, it's a fantasy. It didn't.
No,
really
it's
happen.
just I don't know. You never know. I can't say it's not. I mean, I don't have proof otherwise.
What is your First of all, Will Baker plays trombone on the Ballad of John Baker. That's not a relation, is it?
No, it's his brother. Yeah, it's John Baker's brother. Yeah. Well, because we have an event every year. We have a John Baker Day event every year too. That's one of our big summer event. So John Baker has come and like we had a little podcast with him, and he like did some Q&A and stuff, and just hangs out. And, we've hung out.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think because of that game. Because of that.
No, because every year since we've had this event, it's just kind of grown a little bit. It's grown each year. I mean, last year we had to do it. We did do it last year, but like not very well. It wasn't big or anything.
No, but I think that speaks to what you can do with like baseball. You know what I mean? Like John Baker had a career. He played in the majors, which is super hard to do, and it's not easy, and it shouldn't be sneezed at. But in terms of like, was John Baker Derek Jeter? No. Was John Baker Jody Davis? No. Was John Baker Keith Moreland? No, not really. But like he had that game. Like there's Aaron Boone is coaching the Yankees because of one hit. Yeah. Because of one, he's not a guy who played for the Yankees for 40 years. He's not a dude. He's beloved for one fucking home run. dude.
Right.
It's
Like,
crazy how that happens. And the John Baker thing is an example that happens. There's those stories throughout the league where it's like, we celebrate this guy for this one game. Like, remember when so-and-so hit for the cycle opening day 40 years ago? Like, we still get pumped for that. Like,
right. Yeah.
because the idea that anybody can contribute and anything can happen in any given minute of a baseball game. And that's why I laugh when people are like, it's boring. It's like, it's not boring, man. It's just...
if you're into it, anything can happen at any time. Like you just said, it's perfect. Like,
yeah, dude.
and there's so much nuance all the time. If you know where to watch and know what to listen to, and you know you're tuned into it as much as you can be, like there's a lot going on. I mean,
yeah, and like I said with opening day, I mean it's just the excitement that anything is possible, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it works for life too, because it's sort of the beginning of, you know, it's spring, you know, we're going to move into summer. It's starting to warm up across the country a little bit here and there.
Clean it all out.
And yeah, people are getting outside again. It's just, there's just like you know, not to sound like Chubbs, and it's like there's a promise of a new day. You know what I mean? It's just like, it really is
especially
exciting.
this year,
yeah, dude. And that's what I wanted. Like, this is a special opening day in my head, because I love David Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I think the catcher is the quarterback of the field.
Absolutely.
And I think when you take that guy, that's a guy who would be good on, and that catcher in particular, David Ross, was friends with everybody.
Oh yeah.
From Boston and Chicago, like everybody was friendly with him.
I saw David Ross almost like fight Borzello on the field one time though, like during warmups. So like he was friendly, but he also got in people's ass. Like he'll get into it when he has to. Like he was a fiery dude too, which that's what we needed more of too. I feel like
exactly. There's like that nice line of like, he's affable, but he will tell you to fucking, you know, buck up and get shit done when you need to do it.
Yeah.
And the catcher being fiery is the things that get said, which is immediately why when the COVID season started and there were no fans, they were like, well, we can't show games like this, because you could hear everything the players were saying. Right. So they had to start pumping in audience noise and crowd noise and music.
Dugouts too, like you're hearing strategy, you're hearing
strategies, you're hearing insults, you're hearing shit that like umpires were hearing themselves get made fun of, like stuff that you just never heard during regular games.
It reminds me of one game I went to, like, remember there was like the weird hurricane game, like, and like the Tigers and like the Marlins played at like US Cellular Field like in 2005 or something. There's literally like 1,000 people in the stadium, like, because they announced it like 2 days before. They were just like letting people in for like $10, sit up wherever you want, like, and like literally I was like yelling at the third base umpire from like right field, and like they were like laughing at the dugout and stuff, and like Juan Encarnacion from the Marlins was right there just looking at me every 5 minutes being like, shut up, dude. What are you, like, come on. It was wild. So with no one in it, like even like that, it's a wild environment.
Yeah.
Imagine playing a whole season like that.
Yeah, and that the to me, when people are like, oh, they only had to play a 60-game season, the stress that 60 games put on those players and the managers and the office and the front office and the owners and fuck the owners, but the stress that it put on the players, like they played, that's a full season, man. I don't care how you look at it. The Dodgers won a World Series in a legitimate season as far as I'm concerned, because
I mean, it was tougher to do even with just how it went down. I mean, it's just as tough. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it was sad that opening day last year was the way it was, you know what I mean? Which was pushed and people were sick and it was just awful. So today, I'm hoping, for that, just again, another shot. This is it. We can regroup and we can move forward together. And I think, so you're going to get to the stadium, you get to the bar. What time?
So I'm going to get, God, I mean, probably, I don't even know exactly. It's a 1 o'clock game. The thing is, it's not unusual though, because usually the bleachers are general admission too. So it's like, it was like, it used to be. Now it's not. Now it's assigned and pods and whatever. But it used to be just like you lined up outside like a rock concert. Like, yeah. So I would get there. I mean, I would get there at least like 9 o'clock, if not have an agent there before, like holding it down for us, and just getting in line. But God, I've been there as early as 7 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. Like, yeah. But
just to get your seat.
Yeah, I mean, because I sit in the front like row. There's little benches. Like there's a ribbon board next to me. I play like a bass drum. There's a lot I can do in that seat. So like, I really helps
You're
out.
like Marvin Hatley. You're like the guy
Yeah.
who wrote the Laurel and Hardy Cuckoo song. He played the guitar, the bass drum, and the trumpet all at the same
Right?
time.
I wish.
Or the piano.
They would let instruments in. Oh my god, it'd be great. Like, come on, I'm not the Indians drummer guy yet. That guy gets a drum. Come on, or
Dude,
the
and
Cleveland
everybody.
baseball team. Sorry, the Cleveland baseball team.
Yes, the Cleveland baseball team. But that guy is annoying. I mean,
Yeah.
just hearing him on TV, I'm like, dude,
Well, he
shut
doesn't do much.
up.
Too much. Like, he's got to pick his spots better. I feel like I choose my spots very. I'm like, all right, if it's like a high leverage time, 7th inning or later, like things are getting serious, or like some big's happening, like bases loaded or something. That's when we get it out. Like, we're not just ending it like all day. Like, no.
Yeah. When there's nothing
And
going
also,
on, or you're down 15 runs or whatever.
So my hand would be destroyed if I just did that all the time too, because like I'm just banging it with my bare hand, like a giant metal thing. So I gotta tape it up or get a boxing glove or something.
Yeah, is Ronnie Woo Woo still around?
Oh yeah, I saw him this year. I saw him because I was going down to the ball hawk corner during games, like during the year this year, because we could hang out on the street out there. It was outside. Like, if we were going for balls during batting practice, everybody was like, all right, we're wearing masks and stuff. If we're going for balls, like no one, F around.
Yeah.
But we still had some fun out there.
That's nice.
Yeah, he came walking through a couple times and wooing it up and trying to see what's going on outside. Yeah, he was out there.
Dude, fans will fly that dude. I saw him at San Diego at Petco.
Oh wow. He's not walking around very fast. I'll tell you that much. But...
Nope, he wasn't. This was 2014 or something.
Oh yeah, no,
like
he's
that.
definitely degraded since then. Yeah, he's always got someone with him, and he's just hobbling around wooing. And I don't know.
Wow, good for him, man.
I mean, I've seen him bad things about him too, but we don't need to get into that. Right
Oh, okay. Well, let's.
Well, not like horrible. Let's just say there's been some public urination issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, look, if I'm going to be judging people on urinating in public, that is what they call
maybe a little number
hypocritical.
Maybe a little number two too.
Look, I don't know if you're familiar with my work, but I've taken me some outside dookies.
All right, fair enough.
Well, dude, so you play your set, someone takes your instruments, and then you're just off to the game?
I'll be at the game. Yeah, and then right after, just gonna hop on over, play a set, and
oh wait, you play after the game?
Yeah, we're playing after. We're playing post game. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so
I'm gonna get. I mean, this time, like I think we can only get in an hour before the game starts. So we're probably gonna. I might just go to my bar because I get half price drinks at the bar I work at. I'm drink like hell there if I can, then go down. Yeah, and just go into the game. See how it goes, and if it's not going great, if it's bad in either direction, I might leave early. But if it's a close game, I'll stick in and just go. I mean, it's right across the street. Just walk over there. I'll be all set up and plugged in and ready to go.
Is there any concern about getting over intoxicated before the gig?
Not really.
No.
I've been playing these songs for a while. I can do them in my sleep. Like, it's pretty fine. I mean, and it's good for the show if I'm a little.
Yeah, loose.
It's part of the show.
Lubricated?
Yeah, that's what the fans come to see. It's like that voices.
What's your favorite song on the album?
Oh, I think mine. I think I like Coming Back to Wrigley or Florida Man. I think maybe Florida Man. Actually, that's the first song. It's our song about Anthony Rizzo, which hopefully we're trying to get him to hear it so we can get it to do as a walk-up or something, so we can actually get some money out of this at some point. But
ooh, that would be a great. That's really funny.
It's like very, it's like it leads off. It's like, oh, he's a greatest leadoff hitter in history. He does amazing work for charity. He's a Florida man. So we're using Florida Man to describe Rizzo, but we say good things about him.
Yeah,
trying to make him
the opposite of the opposite of what Florida Man usually gets.
Right. Yeah. Like, this is a good Florida man, though. Come on.
I love it, dude.
That song kind of rocks. It's got some good solos and fun stuff in it, and yeah, it's a good song.
That's awesome, man. Well, we'll put up links where people can buy the album, and
it's on Bandcamp, Bleacher Bum Band on Bandcamp, and you can. This is on Spotify now. It's on Spotify if you're a cheapo.
Yeah, I don't like to promote Spotify because
I don't either. It sucks.
It's just not good for artists, man.
It's not good. I mean, what is though? God damn it.
That's a real good point.
That's a whole other story.
I found doing a podcast for free is exceptional. Really helps make the ends meet.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you so much, man. Have a great game. I hope I'll be watching. I hope they win, and have a great set afterwards, dude. Have a good show.
Yeah, we're looking forward to today.
Yeah, man. Today is gonna rock.
This is morning sun right here. I'm just ready to go.
All right,
I
dude.
need another hit of coffee and Bailey's, and I think I put some double Irish in here. I think I put some Jameson in here too.
Whoops.
A little double Irish for the coffee morning.
That happens. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, dude. Have a
Thanks for
great
having me.
day. Enjoy
Yeah.
yourself, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks, you man.
Yeah.